Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Tiny English. My name is May, and it's wonderful to have you with us again.
And I'm Gray. Hello, everyone. We are so happy you chose to spend some time with us today. Here at Tiny English, our goal is to help you improve your English in a way that is fun, simple, and easy to understand.
That's right. And today we have a topic that I think everyone can find useful. We are going to talk about how to have a productive day.
Oh, that's a great topic. Some days I feel like I can do anything. I get so much done. But other days, it feels like I can't even start. I'm really looking forward to sharing some ideas about this.
Me too. We all want to make the most of our time, whether it's for work, study, or even for our hobbies. So, in this episode, we'll give you some simple tips and useful vocabulary to help you have more productive days.
It sounds like a plan. Let's help our listeners become productivity masters. Are you all ready? Let's begin.
All right, before we get into our main chat, let's start with some key vocabulary. Learning these words will help you understand our conversation better. This is our vocabulary section.
A great idea, as always, May. Let's build our word power. What is the first word for today?
The first word is productive. Productive is an adjective. If you are productive, it means you are able to do or create a lot of things. You achieve good results. For example, I had a very productive morning. I finished all my homework before lunch.
That's a perfect example. The next word is a very common phrase, to-do list. A to-do list is a list of tasks that you need to complete. Many people write one every day. For example, the first thing on my to-do list is to go to the supermarket.
Exactly. Our third word is prioritize. To prioritize is a verb. It means to decide which tasks are the most important and need to be done first. For example, I have 5 tasks today, but I need to prioritize the report for my boss.
That's a very important skill. The next word is distraction. A distraction is a noun. It is something that takes your attention away from what you are supposed to be doing. For example, my phone is a big distraction when I try to study, so I put it in another room.
I feel that. And our final phrase is take a break. This means to stop what you are doing for a short time in order to rest. For example, the doctor said I should take a break from the computer every hour.
Those are 5 fantastic words and phrases. We have productive, to-do list, prioritize, distraction, and take a break. Now that we have our words, let's move on to our main conversation.
So, Gray, let's talk about a real day. When you want to have a productive day, how does it start for you? Does it begin in the morning?
That's a great question. For me, a productive day actually starts the night before. I try to make sure I get enough sleep. If I am tired, my brain feels slow and I can't focus. It's almost impossible to be productive without good rest.
I couldn't agree more. Sleep is so important. It's like charging your body's battery. So after you've had a good night's sleep, what happens in the morning? Do you have a morning routine?
I do. It's not very complicated. The first thing I try not to do is check my phone. I find that if I look at emails or social media right away, my mind gets filled with other people's priorities. Instead, I get up, drink a big glass of water, and do some simple stretching. It helps me wake up my body and mind gently. What about you, May?
My routine is quite similar. I also avoid my phone for the first 30 minutes of the day. I usually make myself a cup of tea and sit by the window for a few minutes. It helps me feel calm and ready for the day. And this is when I make my to-do list.
Ah, the famous to-do list. I'm curious. Do you write it on paper, in a notebook, or do you use an app on your phone or computer?
I am an old-fashioned girl. I love using a pen and a notebook. There is something very satisfying about physically writing down my tasks. And it's even more satisfying when I can cross a task off with my pen after I finish it. It feels like a small victory.
I can understand that feeling. For me, I use a digital list. I use an app because my list can sync between my phone and my computer. So if I'm away from my desk, I can still see what I need to do. Plus, I can easily move tasks to another day if I need to.
That's very practical. I can see why a digital list is useful. So, once you have your list, it can sometimes look very long and scary. How do you decide what to do first? How do you prioritize your tasks?
That is the most important part of the list, I think. A long list can make you feel stressed. I use a simple method. I look at my list and I ask myself 2 questions. First, what is the most important task here? And second, what task will have the biggest positive result? Usually, there is one task that is more important than the others. I mark that one as my top priority.
So you focus on importance and impact. That's very smart. Do you do that most important task first? I've heard some people say you should do the hardest thing first.
Yes, that's exactly what I try to do. There's a famous idea called eat the frog. The frog is your biggest, most difficult task of the day. The idea is that if you do that task first thing in the morning, the rest of your day will feel much easier in comparison. Also, you have the most energy in the morning, so it's the best time to handle difficult things.
Eat the frog. I love that name. It makes so much sense. I have to admit, I sometimes do the opposite. I start with small, easy tasks to feel like I'm making progress quickly. But sometimes, after I finish the small tasks, I feel tired and don't want to start the big, difficult one.
I used to do that too. It feels good to cross off 3 small things in 30 minutes. But like you said, the big, important task is still waiting for you, and it can feel like a dark cloud over your head all day. By doing it first, you clear the cloud away.
I'm going to try that tomorrow. My frog for tomorrow is writing a long report. I will try to do it first thing. Now, let's talk about something that stops me from being productive. Let's talk about distractions. What are your biggest distractions, Gray?
Without a doubt, my biggest distraction is my phone. A notification pops up, and I tell myself I will just look for 1 minute. But 1 minute turns into 10 minutes, and suddenly I have forgotten what I was working on. It's a real productivity killer.
I know that feeling so well. It's like the phone pulls you into a different world. So what is your strategy to fight this distraction?
My main strategy is to make the distraction harder to access. When I need to focus on my priority task, I put my phone on silent mode and place it in another room. If it's not near me, I am much less likely to check it. Out of sight, out of mind. What about you?
That's my main strategy too. I call it phone jail. I put my phone in a drawer. Another distraction for me is the internet. I might be researching for work, and then I see an interesting headline and I click on it. Then another and another. It's a rabbit hole.
Yes, the internet rabbit hole is very deep. For that, I use a browser extension. It's a tool for my computer that blocks certain websites for a period of time. I can set it to block social media sites and news sites for 1 hour while I work. It forces me to stay focused on my task.
That is a brilliant idea. It's like creating your own little bubble of focus. I need to look into that. Now, working with such intense focus can be tiring. Do you believe in taking breaks?
Absolutely. I think it's essential to take a break. You cannot be productive for 8 hours straight. Your brain needs to rest and recharge. I try to work in focused blocks. For example, I'll work for 50 minutes and then I will take a 10-minute break.
The pomodoro technique is similar to that, right? Work for 25 minutes, then a 5-minute break. What do you do during your breaks to make them effective? I think what you do on your break is also very important.
That's a great point. If I use my break to check my phone, then my brain isn't really resting. It's just getting different information. So on my breaks, I try to do something physical. I stand up, walk around my apartment, get a glass of water, or do some stretching. Looking out the window is also nice. It helps to rest my eyes from the screen.
I do that too. I like to step outside for a minute if I can, just to breathe some fresh air. It really helps to clear my head. It feels like hitting a reset button. After the break, I feel ready to focus again.
Exactly. Now, what about the afternoon? I find that even with breaks, I sometimes feel a dip in my energy around 2 or 3 p.m. My motivation goes down and I feel sleepy. Do you experience that?
Oh yes, the afternoon slump. I think it's very common. My strategy for that is to change the type of task I'm doing. In the morning, I do tasks that need a lot of focus and creativity, like writing. In the afternoon, I switch to tasks that are a bit easier or more mechanical, like answering simple emails, organizing files, or making phone calls.
That's a very smart way to manage your energy levels throughout the day. I do something similar. I save my smaller, less important tasks for the afternoon. Another thing that helps me is a healthy snack, like a piece of fruit or some nuts. It gives me a little boost of energy to get through the rest of the afternoon.
A healthy snack is a great idea. A coffee or a sugary drink can give you energy, but then you crash later. A natural snack is much better. So we've talked about starting the day, prioritizing, handling distractions, and taking breaks. What about ending the workday? How do you finish a productive day?
For me, the end of the day is just as important as the beginning. About 15 minutes before I plan to stop working, I do a shutdown routine. First, I look at my to-do list again. I review what I have accomplished. It gives me a sense of achievement and satisfaction.
I love that part. It feels so good to see what you have done. What if you haven't finished everything on your list? Do you feel bad about it?
In the past, I used to. I felt like I failed. But now I have a different perspective. It's very rare to finish every single thing. So I don't worry. I just look at what's left and I move the important unfinished tasks to the top of my list for tomorrow.
That's a very healthy and realistic approach. The goal is progress, not perfection. I do that as well. It makes starting the next day so much easier because I already know what my first task is.
Exactly. The final step of my shutdown routine is to tidy up my workspace. I put away my papers, close the tabs on my computer, and make sure my desk is clean. A clean space helps me start the next day with a clear mind. It signals to my brain that the workday is officially over.
That's a wonderful habit. It's a clear signal to your brain to relax and disconnect from work. It helps create a good work-life balance. I find that if I don't do that, my mind keeps thinking about work even in the evening.
It really makes a difference. So, to our listeners, what do you think? Do you have a routine to end your day? It can really help you feel more in control and less stressed.
I think these are all fantastic and very practical tips, Gray. It's not about big, dramatic changes. It's about small, consistent habits that add up to a more productive and less stressful life.
I agree. And it's important to remember that not every day will be perfectly productive. Some days you will have low energy or unexpected problems, and that is completely okay. The goal is to have more productive days than unproductive ones.
Well said. Be kind to yourself. The goal is to build a system that helps you, not a system that makes you feel pressure. It's been great discussing this with you. I feel motivated to make my day tomorrow extra productive.
This has been a very helpful conversation, May. I've learned some new things from you today as well. I think it's time for a quick summary for our listeners.
Let's do it. Today, we talked about how to have a productive day. We started with the importance of getting enough sleep and having a calm morning routine.
Then we discussed the power of making a to-do list and, more importantly, how to prioritize your tasks. Remember the eat the frog method. Do your biggest, most important task first.
We also shared strategies for dealing with common distractions, like your phone, by putting them out of sight. And don't forget that it's important to take a break regularly to rest your mind and body.
And finally, we talked about finishing your day with a shutdown routine. Review your accomplishments, plan for the next day, and clean your workspace. We hope these tips help you feel more in control of your days.
Now, we would love to hear from you. What is your best tip for being productive? What do you do when you feel you have no motivation? Please share your ideas in the comments section below. We read every comment.
Yes, your ideas could help other listeners too. If you found this episode helpful and you enjoyed our conversation, please give it a like and don't forget to subscribe to Tiny English so you don't miss our future episodes.
Thank you all so much for listening today. We appreciate your time and support.
Until next time, take care and have a productive week. Bye, everyone.
Goodbye for now.